Hello, I'm Patrick, and I'm making an Angel Beats deck profile. This deck I may leave who I bought it from in the description below after I ask if they want the name in the description. I bought this, and I used it once. I think it's a great deck. I don't know how to use it, so I'm making a deck profile before I edit it. Before I edit and mess around with it. I also did make a deck list so I would remember what it is. But this is an unscripted video. I haven't memorized the deck list. I just have it organized a bit. It's a red, yellow deck, but there's not very much red, so I'm just going to start off with the red. It's leveled, organized. I have 2 Unifying Unresponsible Fate. It's a pretty good grade 3. It doesn't come in the trial deck, I know that, because I do have bought the trial deck. Just the card that's facing the character gets -1 soul, and I won't go into the rest of the effect because I don't know who understands Schwarz, because it's the most complicated card game I have played. I have 2 size 2 demonic Commander Yui. And I don't use the Jet Ending card that's in its effect, but I'm planning to maybe edit this deck and use it. I also use 1 Yuri Fearless Gaze and 1 size 1 Messenger Yusa. Now, time to go from the yellow, starting at size 3. I use 1 Yuri Heart Kanade, 3 Kanade Tachiban, and they're both good size 3s, and Kanade Tachiban is a healer, so it basically heals damage that you take in the game. Now time to do size 2s. I use 2 Worrying Kanade. It's just an assist, and there's other effect that I don't know what it does, haven't read it, don't know how to use it. You use 2 Kanade Standing Still. It's good too that has 2 soul, which is basically 2 damage, and a good-ish effect. And I use 2 Normal Girl Kanade. That's it for the size 2s. And now time for size 1s. I use 1 Angel Wings Kanade, 1 Girl Standing Up Against Fate. Might use more since it's the 7K vanilla. And I use 2 Straw Hat Kanade. I also have a card that has Bond with it in my size 0 that I recently learned about. And I use 4 Kanada's Reasoning for Battle. I believe this card is a main strategy in this deck because there's a few cards that get it out, and it gets itself out. Now time for my size 0s. I use 1 Kanada's Innocent Eyes, and this card, when it attacks, it gets choose one of your other death characters, and death character gets plus 1000. I use 2 Kanada's Sending Everyone Off, and it's good continuous. It gives all characters encore. Put a character from your hand into your waiting room. And there's also a card in here that I believe boosts cards that have encore. Put a hand in your hand, and that gives boost of 1000 of power, which is the attack. I also use 2 Battle Meeting Kanade, 2 Alternate Understanding Kanade. It's the one that has Bond with Straw Hat Kanade. It's basically when it's in Straw Hat Kanade's in your waiting room, you can get it. You can pay the cost, and you may place it on your stage. Place your battle area. I use 3 Pass from one Enemy Kanade, and 4 Student Council President Kanade, and this card has auto put the top card of your hand into your waiting room, put this card into your memory. When this card becomes dead in battle, You may pay the cost. If you do, stretch your deck for one student console and reveal it. And put it in your hand. It's a pretty good card to actually get your setup started. And I use, if you understand the game, sorry for anyone who came to my channel that understood the game. I didn't really explain the effects well. I also use 4 Lonely Angel. And it's a good card that becomes, it's a good size 0, I think. And now time for climaxes. Climaxes are not like character cards. You can use them in the climax zone, and they also have different triggers. Like in Vanguard, there's a bit more simpler game when you drive check or damage check. And check for triggers, and other cards have triggers on it, but climaxes are the only cards that can heal or stop damage. Stop damage if you're taking it. It's a good climax. There's a few cards in my deck there's a card in my deck that when you play this card, it gets an additional effect. And this card is just all characters get plus 1,000 and plus 1 soul. It's a good one that affects all characters. I also use 2 power to protect. I do believe I have a card that uses it. And I have 2 time to part ways. And you see, and there's different effects. There's triggers that give 2 power, and then when this one trigger check, if my opponent stops the damage, he takes an additional 1 damage. And then the Somewhere Someday is when this card triggers, you may choose a card one of your opponent's characters, and return that to your opponent's hand. And that's my deck profile. I hope you liked it.